to you, man. Salute to you. I really like what you're trying to do with excusemeofficer.com. Now, excusemeofficer.com is a third-party police interaction database. It allows the public to review, rate, and view interactions happening near them. Okay, so I just want to salute to you on that. You know what I mean? That's what we need to do. We need to keep police officers we need to keep holding police officers accountable. And we have to do that by, just pointing them out, letting people know, when things are happening, good and bad. I really like this. We have to keep an eye on police officers. They need to be known. They need to know that they're being filmed at all time and the information is being shared. And we just got to keep the community abreast of what's going on, all right? Peace.
But then I decided that I'm going to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I decided that, you know what, I can be bigger. This was around the time that Laquan McDonald had happened.
But we were talking about Channing. We were talking about Excuse Me Officer, a.k.a. XMO, which you guys have heard him mention in the first half. We haven't gotten a chance to really tell you guys about Excuse Me Officer, which I think, personally, and it's not just me, I think this is some groundbreaking shit.
Right.
And I think that the millennial generation is the generation that's going to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Channing is a prime example of how we're going to change the world, both through social activity and technology. And Channing, how would you describe XMO and Excuse Me Officer, both the organization and the mission?
Yeah. So XMO it stands for Excuse Me Officer, right? So we named it Excuse Me Officer because it's the most neutral way to begin that conversation with the police department, right? And now we're at such a civil unrest and such a time where we need that conversation with the police department, right? And I thought that we needed that conversation for years. But more importantly, how do we have that conversation without picket signs and riot gear, right? Like, we don't need it when we think we do so much monumental protest for small incremental change, right? And it's the most ironic situation, right? We're talking about a government who has the capabilities of going down in Texas and pretending like you're on a video game and you can fly to Afghanistan and find who's where in the caves, right? But when it comes to the first line of government and how they're actually treating the civilians, we don't have that capabilities, we don't have that intelligence, right? So we lack the capabilities of monitoring the employees that are
They work for
police
us.
officers.
They work for us.
Exactly. They're public servants, yet how they're treating the public has been treated in the most private manner. What XMO is, and Excuse Me Officer, is a platform, a third-party platform that allows you to both view as well as rate, post, all type of police interactions, both good, bad, and neutral, right?
So it's essentially Yelp for police?
A little bit more developed than that. We're a little bit more intuitive. I would compare it to how Uber is able to monitor their independent contractors, right? So think someone is in San Francisco right now, and they can monitor the effectiveness of a driver in Chicago or New York simply because of a 5-star rating scale that all the public that interacts with this person gets to do. Right? They already know who and where, right? So, and when. That's one of the things that our platform does. It collects who, what, when, where, and why.
So if I'm walking down the street and I see some 17-year-old kid getting put on the car by police and I feel like the cop's being a little bit more aggressive than need be, and I start to record, will I be able to send the video to excusemeofficer.com, or how does it work?
Correct. So you come to excusemeofficer.com and you just simply upload that video and tell us when and where it happened. As long as we have a valid email address, we can accept that posting as an original post. We still want things to be first person. We still want that person's experience, right? That's, once again, on that callback, it's about the proper representation. Someone was there. Someone saw what happened, and now, more importantly, everyone is now getting these videos. Right now, we're just funneling them through Facebook, Instagram, or wherever we want for our social entertainment and to show that we are disgusted with this. Yet we're not able to actually get that video to the people that it matters to, right? So that's why here in Chicago, which is our home base, we have, 93.7% of the complaints brought against the CPD are unfounded because of lack of evidence. I would argue that the community is seeing this. The community is videotaping this, yet we just don't have the technology. Well, we didn't have the technology until now. So now we have the capabilities of both posting those videos as well as those reviews, right? So painting a bigger picture. Using that same Uber analogy, think about at 1 a.m. if all of a sudden there's a lot of women that are saying that this Uber driver is a little creepy, a little sexual tension or whatever it may be, what Uber's going to do is curve that behavior by saying, well, maybe he doesn't need to work night shift, or maybe he needs to get his star rating up, because if not...
Or show him the guys first or something like that.
Right, you change the small incremental changes, right? The changes for those quote-unquote bad apples, right? Is we're just saying that these bad apples just need to be thrown out. But it's those small incremental behaviors that we aren't communicating directly with the police department, right? So if we're not hearing about when the Uber driver's being a little creepy, then it's going to be a surprise when the Uber driver has sexual assault.
Right. Yeah.
Correct, right? Whether it be anti-Semitic, anti-Muslim, just being a bigot, whatever that problematic behavior was, right? Uber and some of these bigger tech, we now have the capabilities. When you're thinking of the employees and the metrics that most companies now have in the technology age, we're able to monitor the effectiveness at this level.
Right.
But when you're talking about with the police department, where we have that same capabilities of finding heat sensors in the caves, we only have a bulky one camera on that individual.
Well, yeah, either a bulky camera or you should have to go to the department, file a report.
And there's so many of us already capturing you. Whether it's Ring Doorbell, also find me at YSoSilk at Ring Doorbell. Whether it's them capturing the interaction on the doorbell or their phone, whatever it may be. You know, I take screenshots or videos of the sunset every day, right? And if it just so happens that I turn and boom, there's a cop saving a baby on this camera, that's cool. But 400 people on my Snapchat, what are they going to do with that? But more importantly, the mother who would love to see that video, right? Or the cop that was actually involved would love to have that on their record so that if anything does happen, there's not just a negative record, which they currently only have, right?
Wow.
It's a catch-22 that we have with the police department because we want them there every day.
Right.
We know that they're there for 12 hours, and because of all the looting in Chicago right now, 12-hour shifts, no days off, right?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because in my head, 12-hour shifts, no days off. To me, that sounds like you want these people tired. You want these people destructive because tired people have short patience. People with short patience have a problem with looters, not just protesters. My question to you is...
They're human.
Absolutely, they are, and we need to treat them as such just like everyone else.
Now,
a lot of them are punching the clock.
Here's the fun part about humans, and all of the data will show this, right? When they are being surveillance, humans act better. They act different. Right, so we wanted our platform to be well known. So when I was doing the pilot, it was just in Chicago, and I was thinking, maybe we'll go city by city. But that's not how this revolution had to take place. It had to be, everyone has to have that transparency and accountability at one time. I didn't want it to be one part of the world or some people get it. Someone asked me, they're like, oh my God, I love this app. How much is it? How much is it? I would never charge the people for the revolution, right? I want the people to be able to communicate with the people about how they're being policed.
Right.
How the public is perceiving that they're being policed, and the public is public knowledge now on excusemeofficer.com.
Right. It also creates this level of consciousness for the law enforcement, the police officer. It's this what you said. Well, what you said. I mean, even the ones that have a bad record, right? They could just be tired. They could be in their emotions.
It could just not be proper representation, and it could be a bad day.
Absolutely. And then it's a reminder. Wait, I had a bad day.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'm being watched by people.
You know what's crazy? We were just burning police departments down just because they're police departments, and we have no idea if this is a 5-star police department that's very racially progressive, or is this the one?
Hold up, okay. Kanye for president, known that shit ever since I was tripping out the city with bro. Keep on forgetting, shit skip what they telling me. Never felt like something better before. Passing on sedatives, my head is heaven. And I keep on telling myself not to smoke. Low with the Xannies to save me from fentanyl. Let me know there's gonna be somewhere to go. Praying that I'm gonna grow.